here we're going to talk about how to brief a case in law school. Now, in general, we do not recommend briefing cases because it's very time consuming. But you might want to brief cases, particularly at the beginning of law school, like the first week of class, for example, so that you can understand what's going on and get used to this process of dissecting these case briefs. And briefing cases does have a few benefits, particularly in the beginning of the semester. It'll make you more comfortable when you go to class. It'll help you learn how to read and dissect a legal opinion. And it'll help you to an extent in learning how to think like a lawyer, because you're going to see what facts the court relies on in making their decision. So it is a really good learning tool. It simply just does not help you that much on the final exam, which is why you don't want to make it a priority. But here we're going to talk about how to brief a case so that you understand the basic structure, and then we're even going to go through a couple cases together. So first, you usually put your case name at the very top of the case brief, so you know what case you're briefing, and then you state the facts. A lot of people make the mistake of trying to say all the facts in the case, and they provide a really long, detailed fact pattern. But this is supposed to be a case brief, okay? So it's supposed to be short. It's supposed to be brief. So instead of providing a really lengthy rendition of what happened, just try to summarize them in a couple sentences. The more concise you can be, the better, because then when you look at your case brief, you'll know exactly what happened in that case. You won't have to basically read the case again to figure it out. Second, the procedural history. State what happened at the lower court levels. For example, maybe your case is at the trial court and the judge made a decision and then the lawyer appealed it, so now it's at the appellate court. So state what happened at the lower court levels and what is this court deciding now. That's the procedural history. That is honestly not very important except in the civil procedure class. So generally, that can pretty much be ignored unless your professor talks about procedural history, but it is something that is typically in a case brief. Next, the issue. So state the question that the court needs to decide in order to answer the case. Maybe the question is, did the defendant commit a battery when he punched the plaintiff in the nose? Okay, maybe that's the whole question that the court is deciding. And it's best to write this in a question format. So it's best to have a question mark at the end of the issue, and it's best to be a yes or no question. So did the defendant commit a battery when he punched the plaintiff in the nose? That would be a yes or no question. That's typically how these issues are written. The holding answers the issue presented before the court, typically in a yes or no format. So yes, the defendant did commit a battery when he punched the plaintiff in the nose, or no, the defendant did not. Okay, next, the rule of law. Identify the rule of law that the court uses to answer the case. The rule might be a battery is an act with intent to cause a harmful or offensive contact or imminent apprehension of that contact, and a harmful or offensive contact directly or indirectly resulted. Okay, that's our rule. So that's something that you want to put right in your case brief. In fact, this is probably the most important part of your case brief because this is the rule that you want to memorize for law school final exams. Then rationale. Answer the question, why did the court decide to rule this way? Sometimes they rely on facts. Sometimes they rely on, one interpretation of the law rather than another. Sometimes there's a policy decision they're relying on. So state why the court decided to rule that way. And then if there's a dissent or concurrence, put a short summary. Sometimes there's a dissenting judge and they'll say, I disagree with this court's opinion because, and they'll write this long dissent. So you might want to put the dissent or the concurring opinion. A concurring opinion agrees with the outcome but has a different rationale for the outcome. So sometimes it can be interesting to see what the concurring opinion states. Okay, so some general tips are keep your case brief short, don't write more than one page, and try to summarize what happens in your case, write it in your own words rather than just copying directly from the case. Otherwise, you're not really changing the case that much, and it might be hard to look at your case brief. The whole point of a case brief is to have something really quick you can reference if you want to remember what happened in a certain case. So when to brief a case, as a general rule, we don't recommend that you brief cases. In fact, I'd recommend that you stop after the first week of law school. But you might want to brief them in the beginning of law school just to kind of get used to this whole case reading process. Some people brief cases before they're called on so that they have everything in one place. They know the issue, the rule, the analysis, or whatever, just in case the professor asks those questions in class. So if they know they're going to be on call, some people will brief cases. To be honest, when I was in law school, I didn't even find that helpful though, because most professors will focus directly on the words in your case book. So I would find it more helpful to book brief a case rather than writing out a separate case brief, because then I had everything in one place, which is my case book. But some people do find it helpful to have the case briefs before they're called on, or if anything, it just makes them less anxious before class. And then lastly, if your professor tells you that the final exam is based on cases and you'll be expected to know them, then you might want to brief some cases. This is really rare. Of all the law students that we've tutored, and we've tutored a lot of them, I've only had one student who had a professor who explicitly tested on the facts of cases, and he happened to write the case book, so it was a little bit of an unusual circumstance. So for that student, we did focus more on what happened in a case, making sure that he knew the case names, the basic facts, and stuff like that, because that was tested on his final exam. But again, that's pretty rare. So hopefully this session taught you how to brief a case and the basics, and hopefully it convinced you that you do not need to make briefing cases a priority throughout the law school semester. Rather, it should be something that you do in the beginning or in isolated circumstances throughout the semester.